Okay, first thing in the mountains actually involves the Goron Shrine, or better yet, how to open the Goron Shrine. As you may remember, a Goron Pound actually opens up this place. If you're not in possession of the Goron Mask yet, you actually use the guard of that place. This Goron is actually slowly freezing to death over here. You can actually talk to him to open up the Goron Shrine, as you may remember. So even if you're only a human, this still allows you to actually enter the Goron Shrine. These are all things we already know officially, because the first time I went in here I also used this method. But the reason I'm showing this off again is because there's actually something in regards to opening the Goron Shrine that I did not talk about. And that is actually dependent on what time it is. Because this, once again, just like with the Woods of Mystery in the swamp, actually changes up the moment the days change. So, here ends the introduction of this little thing. This was all things we already know. Now let's go to the second day. Okay, if you actually come here on day 2 or day 3, you will actually find no Gatekeeper anymore. Normally you can actually start looking on this little figure 8 over here that actually encircles the Goron Shrine until you find the Gatekeeper. However, if you show up here on day 2 or 3, you will not find him anymore. You can walk around all you want, but you will only find a rolling snowball. And Ocarina of Time has actually taught us that we need to try to stop this snowball. However, we can lay bombs all we want. It seems it does not actually do anything. I still think this is actually really weird. Normally I would think that throwing bombs should be able to actually blow this snowball up, but it actually does not, as you can see. So bombs are not an option. Another logical weapon that you would think you could use is actually fire arrows, but if you start shooting fire arrows at this snowball, it will also do nothing. And our sword also does nothing. However, we actually do find a blue icon the moment we try to approach it. And the only thing to actually open it up is with the Goron Punch. As you can see, that will actually get rid of the snowball. And it turns out it was the Gatekeeper all along. On day 2 and 3 he actually has gotten so cold that he's turned into a snowball and starts rolling around. But the Gatekeeper is still here. You just need a Goron Punch in order to break him out. Okay, and now for something you probably didn't expect. Remember the Razor Sword, the level 2 sword that we got before we upgraded it even more to the Gilded Sword? We never actually used that thing, didn't we? Luckily I copied my save file from back then, so I can actually still show off the Razor Sword. And for all you non-believers who still don't think the Razor Sword can actually break after 100 times of use. As you can see, it functions pretty much the same like the Kokiri Sword, it's of the same length. Just a little bit more powerful. And you can use it normally just like any other sword, with one exception. After hitting something 100 times, this sword is no longer in existence and it returns to the original Kokiri sword that it was before this. So let's go slash this tree and gossip stone and show off how the sharpness returning to normal actually functions. This tree is my mortal enemy. Ah, there we go. Your fancy razor sword has reverted back to the regular old Kokiri sword. And we need to return it to the mountain smithy if we want the razor sword back again. So pretty much a retryable event, you might say. You need to return to the mountain smithy and pay another 100 rupees. And they can make it again for you. You guys did a poor job. Stupid Deku Stick over here didn't do his job well enough. He was playing around with this rubber ducky a little bit too much. Why is there a duck in there? But anyway, that is not all. Even if you go back in time, the razor sword will actually also lose its edge. So don't think you can actually take this back to a different cycle. Even if you go back in time, you will return with the Kokiri sword. Hey guys! I am here to defeat your boss with Fierce Deity Link. This is actually in the 3DS version the final boss that you can actually take on with Fierce Deity. Even though in the Great Bay Temple you can still partially do the boss battle with the Fierce Deity mask. This is the final one we can do entirely with it, so let's go thaw him out. Let's keep my finger ready for the Fierce Deity mask, because I'd like to be Fierce Deity during the cutscene too. Making it more interesting. Yeah, you're facing a big boy now. Okay, Goht. Even though we can't roll with you this time around, we don't have to. Our sword beams are actually enough to trip you over. Let's go in the opposite direction this time around. Wait for him to actually come around the corner. And let's go attack you like this. It will actually also stop him, as you can see. And let's go see if we can get him in a stun lock situation, because we can actually attack him the moment he starts walking again, and he will trip over immediately again. So he won't get very far. There we go. Always feels so awesome taking on a boss like that. Unfortunately, he was the final one because of the way Gyorg and Twin Mold actually work in this game. They cannot be beaten by Fierce Deity Link. But at least Goht we were still able to take on this way. Okay, let's go finish off the mountains. Beating Gyorg and Twin Mold with Fierce Deity is going to have to wait until the N64 version of Majora's Mask. I'll try to remember to show it off there once that project becomes a thing in the far future. But anyway, those were the mountains. Okay, the first thing in the ocean area I would like to show off actually involves the pirates. It's the whole reason why we're in the pirates' fortress. Okay, let's go take care of you guys first, because I'd like to get thrown out actually, in order to show off what actually happens to you the moment you get caught. Do remember these guys actually wake up after a moment. As you can see, they're only knocked out. And the moment they are down for a few seconds, they will get up again. That's actually how the pirates work in this game, unlike in the Gyarados Fortress in Ocarina of Time. But anyway, before we actually let ourselves get caught, there's actually something else I'd like to show off. And that entails this room over here. As you can see, it's locked. And this is actually the room where the hookshot can be found. But when the pirate leader is still there, we can't go in it. Unlike in the N64 version, where they immediately catch you the moment they see you. And speaking of being seen, the moment you actually get seen by these pirates, and this is actually what happens to you. You don't get out of the entire fortress, just outside of the courtyard area. Which is pretty weird, because you would think they would throw out an intruder entirely if they actually spot someone in their fortress. But anyway, now that we're here, there's actually something else I can show off. This is actually a little bit of a play around, you might say. But remember all of these pirates that actually patrol on their little boats? What if I told you you can actually jump onto their little boats from here? And they're stupid enough not to notice. Ma'am, there's someone behind you. No wonder nobody takes the pirates seriously. Oh, now she notices me. And the moment you actually get spotted in this area, then you do get thrown out entirely. You get tossed over the gate, as you can see. Oh, what the hell? Okay. I think I broke the camera. Okay. Okay, this looks weird. The camera does still function, but it's not centered around Link anymore. A little bit above him, it looks like. Okay, I'm not too sure if this is a known glitch in this game, but I never noticed this one, at least. We can actually move around with nothing but Link's bunny ears inside. Okay, and L targeting apparently solves it. Interesting. This place can be so relaxing. I've always really liked this view. But anyway, the reason why we're up here is because of the Beaver Brothers race. Just like with the Woods of Mystery, this is also a place that actually changes up on different days. The moment we played the Waterfall Rapids minigame during the Let's Play was actually on the final day. However, this is another spot where on day 1 and day 2 the track will be different. I can remember already talking about the different pathways the moment we went through here the first time. However, on day 1 and day 2, some of those other pathways that we actually saw on the map are actually opened up, and they actually change up this race a little bit. So let's go show off what the race is on day 1. This first part is still the same, that we already know. However, unlike on the third day, where you go through a narrow tunnel to the left, here the pathway actually goes to the right. The first pathway we did not see yet, and this is where they meet up again, as you can see. You can follow along on the map where the split pathways come up. Here's actually another one. However, this one is still the same. Just like on day 3, we also go to the left over here, this wider area. Okay, why am I even bothering? I don't need those rings. I'm only showing off the different pathways. That is actually how the race goes on day 1. The first split pathway is different, but the second one is the same as in day 3. And of course, the second day will also have a different pathway. In fact, the one we did not see yet. And that one will be active on day 2. So, let's cut here. Okay, second day. There's still one pathway we did not see yet, and that's going to be active today. I'm not too sure what the first split pathway is going to be. Not that it matters, because we've seen both of them by now. But still. Let's go see how the race looks on day 2. Check out the map. Okay, we're gonna go through the tunnel, it seems. Just like on day 3. So this small tunnel is day 2 and day 3, not day 1. However, the second split pathway is going to be the one we have not seen yet. The one that apparently only shows up on day 2. As you can see, now we take the right pathway. Which is the quote-unquote small pathway of the second split pathway. Because this one is a lot narrower. And therefore also easier, I feel. Even though I still missed a ring. Not that it matters, because we've already cleared this game, so I'm not playing it to clear it. But anyway, that was the Beaver Brothers race. Okay, let's go open up the boss. Because, like I explained, Gyorg you cannot defeat with the Fierce Deity mask. However, we can do him partially. So, I'm still going in here. The first phase, when we're still on that little platform, that we can do with Fierce Deity. So, let's go show off how that works. And also immediately show off the boss cutscene while being Fierce Deity Link. Big boy with a big sword coming through. Okay, if you remember correctly from the Gyorg fight, the second phase actually takes place in the water. Fierce DT Link can't really swim. However, in the first phase we don't have to swim yet. And therefore, that phase we can do as Fierce DT Link. Just find him, L-target him, and sword beams are your friend. Only 2 hits is enough for him to get stunned. And even hitting his eye we can do with the sword beams. Okay, rinse and repeat, I must say. Yeah, L-targeting can be a little bit troublesome if he's too far away. But eventually he'll come near you and you can L-target him. Because unfortunately it's not possible to manually aim your height whenever using sword beams. You actually have to do that with L-targeting. Still, eventually you'll get him. And this phase is pretty easy with Fierce DT Link. However, that is where his practical use actually ends. You can actually try to get a few quick hits in before the platform actually sinks into the water. But after it does, as you can see, Fierce DT Link, as intimidating as he may be, in the water he is pretty useless. We can't use our sword in the water. Our dive move is pretty useless. So this is where his practical use actually ends. But at least the first phase you can make pretty easy and pretty quick when using Fierce DT. Help, I'm Fierce DT. I'm very strong, but I can't swim, so fish are eating me. Okay, and the final thing I'd like to cover in the ocean area is actually the fishing hole that is in the ocean. Like I said, the first time we passed through here, not required for 100%, and therefore I skipped it then. But here in the bonus content, it actually has a nice spot, I feel. Welcome to the ocean fishing hole. Similar to the swamp fishing hole, it works perfectly the same. The only difference is we have a different arena where the catching of fish actually takes place. And of course different kinds of fish to actually catch here. So let's go see if we can catch at least one. Just like with the swamp, I'm not going to go for catching all of the fish, there's no need to. But I'll at least try to catch one of them. Let's go see what we can find. It is the second day during afternoon. And it's raining, so there might be some unique fish around here. First, let's go see what we have. Let's go take a quick look around the pool. As you can see, there's multiple islands in the middle where we can stand on for a good vantage point. There's a little bit of a cave area there. I always thought this was actually pretty interesting, because it actually looks like a place where you can actually go in. As you can see, it looks like to be an open cave. Thinking, ooh, there's a secret there. Secret hidden piece of heart or something like that, but it's actually closed off, you can't go in there. It's just there for aesthetic reasons. Okay, even from down here you might think we can actually get a good vantage point, but when you're underwater you can't actually cast your rod. Zora Link is not able to fish from underwater. Oh, and if you go too far out he will actually yell at you for coming back. That is the game's way of creating an invisible wall, you might say. We can't actually enter the ocean from this area. But okay, that's actually how this place looks. Let's go see if we can catch something. And preferably not something we caught in the swamp. Which was a Termina bass, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go see if we can catch something new today. Even though I'm not going for a complete journal when it comes to the fishing. I would like to catch at least one fish in here. That much I can do. And these guys are not biting. With the sinking lure we can actually go down all the way to the bottom for the bottom dwellers. It doesn't seem anyone is home today. Oh! I was not paying attention, but apparently somebody actually finally caught my rod, so let's go see if we can reel in this little guy. Does not seem like the most interesting fish in the world, but still. It also looks like something new. It's definitely not the Termina bass. This is something new. It was taking so long, my attention kinda slipped away. Come on. Well, he is strong, because not really making any progress, it looks like. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's a really small one. It's a Gutta goby, 5 centimeters long. Okay, and that is the ocean fishing hole. Interesting little spot if you'd like to play around with fishing in this game. It's only a bonus minigame, there's no reward for getting from it, like I explained earlier. So let's go take a look at some of the fish we can actually find here. And the conditions before you can actually catch them. The skullfish is actually pretty interesting, because this one also appears as an enemy in the regular game. But you can also catch it here. But only when wearing the captain's hat, because he enjoys skeletons. Let's see if we can find something else. This is a bashful angler. Easier to catch for people who don't stand out. And therefore saying, if you actually wear the stone mask, you can actually find this guy. And that is pretty much how this works. That's all I'd like to cover for today. And with this, the ocean has also been completed. I've shown off everything I've wanted to. So let's stop fishing and move on to the canyon area.